Yo, what is up guys? This is Troy D from the Troy D 24/7 Mall channel, your source for on point and no hype reviews. We are back again, everybody. We're back with another fragrance review right here, guys, on my day off. Now today, as promised, I will be talking about 1 out of 3 of the latest Louis Vuitton Journey to China collection. And this one, of course, is the most popular and the most hyped one. People are preferring this over the other two. So today, I will be breaking this down for y'all. Let's go. Now, before I continue, please do not forget to like and subscribe, guys, okay? Liking, subscribing, and watching the ads is a great big deal to this channel as we head towards 28K. We just hit 27K, so I want to thank y'all for all your support. Please deep dive into my over 900 no hype videos, all full breakdowns, and of course shop with our affiliates as well as our friends of the channel. Thank you so much for all your support. And the fragrance that we'll be talking about today is none other than Louis Vuitton, the latest Louis Vuitton Journey to China Rain Tea. Yes, Louis Vuitton Journey to China Rain Tea. And this is part of a 3 fragrance collection. And because tea scents are all the buzz nowadays and there's always new people, really starting to appreciate tea fragrances, this is obviously the most popular one out of the 3. And again, this is part of the Louis Vuitton Journey to China collection. This is an exclusive out there, but thanks to decanters like Larry Mendez, we're able to get it over here, thousands of miles here in Los Angeles in America. Anyways, of course, this is a tea scent, but what kind of tea scent are we gonna get? And is this worth the hype? I mean, if we get, bottles eventually floating around here in the US, is it gonna be worth a full bottle to get this thing? Because these Louis Vuitton fragrances are not cheap. Let's go spray this thing right now and find out. Okay guys, now let's talk about this fragrance right here. One of the latest Louis Vuitton fragrances out there, China-Exclusive Rain Tea. All right, so let's start with this opening right here, which in my opinion has some other notes that's not on the internet breakdown. I mean, they really didn't release any official notes, but on the internet breakdown, I feel like there's more notes than this, and it's right here in the opening. So right here in the opening, to me, you have a combination of citruses, lemongrass, and of course your gradient tea, okay, your early appearance of the tea notes, and they all come together wonderfully in this impact opener. Okay, so first and foremost, you're gonna get citruses, and it might remind you of other Louis Vuitton fragrances like Imagination. Anything Louis Vuitton that has citruses, I feel like this one has a combination of lemon, grapefruit here in this opening, because there's something citrusy and bitter glistening in the beginning of this fragrance right here. So in the initial part, you're gonna get some nice citruses that will remind you, like I said, of other Jacques Cavalier citrus openings, other fragrances that he's done. Now the magic of this opening is of course gonna be the lemongrass. Okay, now lemongrass is pretty self-explanatory. It's got citrusy tinges, but at the end of the day, it also has a grassy, like a photorealistic grassy type scent. And when you mix that with a gradient tea, all right, a gradient relaxing tea, you have this kind of like dewy after rain effect, which I find is amazing with this fragrance. The way that they were able to turn the intro into a very photorealistic after rain effect, which is why it's probably called rain tea, guys, okay? And it's because of that combination of the lemongrass as well as the tea that comes in early. And what can I say? I mean, what I like about this intro is that they give it to you straight up. You get the tea, you get the rain effect, the after rain effect, you get the nice citruses that, the other fragrances of Louis Vuitton are well known for. So I would say this opening right here is gonna be the one that's gonna make people really like or love rain tea right here. This intro with the after rain effect, lemongrass with some tea, and the popular citruses of Louis Vuitton. Okay, now let's talk about initial sillage and projection of this one. This fragrance is, I feel, more powerful than the other Louis Vuitton fragrances. And you probably hear this feedback from other people. But to me, the sillage, even with just a few sprays of rain tea, is really a lot more powerful. There's a strong aroma, there's a punch in this opening. You can really feel the strength, because I know some Louis Vuitton fragrances are not as strong, and this one right here does pack some punch. And so I can't imagine if you have the full bottle drencher sprayer that Louis Vuitton has, spraying this over, you'd probably get a really strong sillage and projection. So I would say sillage and projection is above average on Rain Tea. Okay, now let's head into the mid of this fragrance right here. Now the after rain effect really, I would say, blends in with the mid, and it kind of overlaps the usual length time of openings, which is usually 30 to 45 minutes, because the opening with the lemongrass and the tea, which is also a mid note, it actually bridges nicely into the mid, where it's actually past 45 minutes that you can still enjoy that after rain effect. Of course, at some point the initial citruses fade away, and then you've got the mid right here, which is going to be magnolia as well as the tea. All right, so the tea continues, gradient, relaxing tea goes into this mid right here, and it still blends. Like I said, somewhere in the mid, you're still smelling that after rain effect. And then in the mid, you're going to get magnolia. And magnolia is a citrus tinged white floral. Okay, it is a creamy white floral with a citrusy tinge. And I would say that this is kind of like maybe the unisex to femme modifier in this fragrance right here. I'm not saying that this is completely femme leaning, but I can see how this is the kind of like unisex to femme modifier, because the intro is like, even if you're a guy, it's like, oh wow, after rain, citruses, lemongrass, tea, like the guys are gonna like this, but once we get to the mid, you're gonna get a citrus tinged white floral magnolia. That is really the heart of this fragrance with the tea. And that mid actually lasts a while. So that is one thing I will say. It goes up until 6 to 7 hours into the scent, and the magnolia is a prominent note. Okay, so I would say that this part is the one where, maybe, you guys will judge if this is something that you like all throughout, is the appearance of the magnolia. But nevertheless, still a lovely mid, white floral with a citrusy tinge, still with the tea, prominent up to hour 7. Okay, and finally, let's look into the dry down right here. Like I said, this magnolia goes up to hour 7, and finally you are gonna get centifolia rose or cabbage rose at the end of this fragrance right here. There's no musk, there's no gradient fade to black towards the end, because this rose right here is actually honeyed and fruity with also a citrusy tinge. So the thing about Rain Tea is that all throughout, you are gonna, feel, or you're gonna smell that citrusy tinge. From the initial part with the lemongrass, it seems like all the notes right here, other than tea, do have a citrusy aspect. Magnolia, and then finally centifolia rose. But this rose is not a dark rose. It doesn't go into anything dark. It's basically a nice rose with a body, but then also has honeyed and, kind of like fruity, citrusy aspects towards the end. Now, it is a nice transition from the magnolia, and then you finally get that rose. But again, still, you are smelling a consistent citrusy tinge throughout the scent right here. So it's a nice ending. It's non-dark. It's not musky. It doesn't go to a fade to black. Very consistent with kind of like, a steady citrusy feel throughout the scent. Okay, so what do I think of this fragrance right here, Louis Vuitton Rain Tea? First and foremost, it's great concept-wise because it's really like a journey to China thing. And with that being said, I'm excited to try the other ones like Ink Mark, for example. And this one definitely, brings the outdoors, or definitely gives you that after rain effect with, of course, the popular citrus and tea aspects that made fragrances like Imagination really popular. So if you are into Imagination, this is definitely worth a try. And tea scents are a big thing nowadays because it's a combination usually of mood enhancing in the beginning and mood calming in the middle. It's a very calming type of scent, very lovely. And the fact that it doesn't go to anything dark makes its versatility really out there. You can use it kind of like anytime, anywhere as a grabber or an upscale grabber. Now, the highlight obviously is going to be the intro with the after rain effect, that dewy after rain effect thanks to the lemongrass tea gradient combination. I think that that is going to be the winner right there. And they didn't hesitate. They didn't prolong, the smell coming in. They give it right when you spray this fragrance. And so you will get it immediately. It's immediate satisfaction, which I like in fragrances. They didn't dilly-dally around and prolong anything. You get that after rain tea effect immediately. So that is something I do like. And of course, with the increased sillage and projection, that's another thing. I think that those that have been talking about Louis Vuitton scents being weak or not being there in terms of the strength, I think you will find it here in this fragrance Rain Tea. Okay, now here's a question right here. Is this fragrance unisex? This fragrance is extremely unisex. As a guy, I'm fine with wearing this. Okay, Magnolia, although it is a white floral, it is also engulfed by that gradient tea, okay? And the initial part with the after rain aspect actually bleeds into the mid as well. A prolonged opening, a strong prolonged opening. And of course, the ending with a centifolia rose isn't that bad either. It didn't really lean femme to me. Although I can say this, that women will love this scent as well, thanks to those aspects. And they, masterfully, made it kind of like even and balanced, having very unisex types of notes that don't really lean anywhere, So I would say this is a very unisex scent. Guys can do it as well, no problem, and the ladies will love it. Anyone in between will love it. Okay, now total performance on this fragrance, guys, is 11 hours with hints of that citrus, floral, rose past 11, okay? But significant scent for me is 11. And again, let's not forget the consistent, stronger sillage, initial strong sillage, and then consistent sillage throughout this fragrance. And like I said, maybe there was a performance drop at hour 10, going to 11. Very typical of Louis Vuitton scents, but also it's because a lot of the notes are concentrated in the opening of the scent. Okay, you don't get a thick dry down which has multiple notes like rose, musk, amber. So, I don't see it really extending that much, but 11 hours is a very decent, longevity for this fragrance right here, Rain Tea. Okay, and finally, what is the cost of this fragrance, and is it a full bottle worthy fragrance? I mean, reports say this is priced the same as any other Louis Vuitton scent, $400 to $500, guys. It's just that you got to get it in China. But if, I had the chance to get this, if you're an imagination fan, I think that you're gonna like this one as well. This is a must-have if you liked imagination, because there are some aspects to imagination that they kind of like bridged over into this scent right here, Rain Tea. It's just that they made it like an after rain effect, like I said, Journey to China, which is a really cool thing. And you got this like jade looking bottle, which, to me, it's very appealing compared to the other Louis Vuitton. Some people don't like it, but I actually like the bottle design right here because, hey, that's the heritage of China. It's a collection for China. So I think it's a full bottle worthy scent. I think that this is going to be a very usable scent anytime, anywhere. Grabber to upscale grabber. So if you can get your hands on it, why not? But if not, if you want to just get a decant, get a 10 ml decant from Larry, go ahead, get a 10 ml so at least you can get to smell this wonderful scent and you get to wear it as well multiple times. So get a decant if you can't get a bottle, but definitely for me, full bottle worthy. And that is it. That is my no hype review on the latest Louis Vuitton fragrance, 1 out of 3 from the Journey to China collection, Rain Tea. Let me know in the comments below what y'all think. If you are one of those that got to order a decant from Larry, or you got to experience this in China, in Beijing or Shanghai, let me know what you think of this fragrance. Does it match what I said about how this fragrance can be really appealing to the masses? I think a lot of people are going to like this one, just as how imagination, which is something that at that time I didn't expect would grow and be big, became big, right? Until now, people are still, putting imagination at the top of their fragrance lists. And if you do have imagination, it would be great to have this as well. So if not, if you can't get one of these bottles, get a decant from Larry Mendez. And of course, hopefully this kind of review makes Louis Vuitton sell this, perfume past, the borders of China to the broader masses in different Louis Vuitton boutiques around the world. Hopefully that happens so we all can get a bottle of this right here, okay? So I will see you guys on the next video. Again, I'm going to try to test Ink Mark as well as other wonderful fragrances that are coming in. Oh my God, a lot of people are asking me about this Caden perfume, which is like super sold out. I got to do that as well. It's on the way. So thank you so much for watching, guys. Okay, champagne at BG as well is on the way. Let me know on the comments below what you guys would like to hear from me. What kind of reviews do you want before the year ends? Just comment below, and we'll see you guys on the next video. God bless, take care, peace.